My name is Shumi and I'm from Fuvahmulah. I've been doing diving for the last 25 years here in the Maldives, also around the world. And Fuvahmulah is basically where I came from. I'm also a PEDI and SSI instructor. I did my very first dive in 1996 and I've been a PEDI Pro since 2002. And I have log dives over 15k here in the Maldives and also abroad. And just only freshwater legs, 1200 dives. And did all sort of dives, dry suit, ice diving, recreational diving, also tech diving. So that's what I love most about it. Ready?
I'm a briefing.
Okay, so the famous tiger shark point, also known as Fuvahmulah, also known as the entrance of the harbour of Fuvahmulah. So this is the harbour entrance. This is the main pathway. The boats go back and forth. If you look at here, the top part is about like 5 meters. Closer to the edge where the drop off starts, it's about like 9-10 meters. So how this is going to be the entry and exit. So basically we will get into the water somewhere over here and then we will swim slowly. We will approach towards to here. These are the divers. So we will make a beautiful line and then all we need to do is just find a piece of dead coral, because anywhere there will be a lot of dead corals. Okay, so the only thing that you might notice is that you might feel a little bit surge current to go back and forth, back and forth. So to avoid that, you can also use the gloves. On this dive you need to use the gloves and also put some extra kilos so that you can stay stable at the bottom. So the blue circle mark is the dive masters will stay behind of the divers. Okay, so those who are taking the pictures, the ideal location is at this end and this end. Okay.
So you don't allow us to, the shark comes behind us.
Yeah. So those who have the camera, do not stay here, because if you stay here, it's not you don't get a good footage from there. Okay. And then how we attract
A zašto ne slušaš?
With the camera we
Just
stay
a moment.
here. The camera guys, you can stay
Na
here.
Ćoškovi.
On this area.
Okay, ja i ti možemo
Okay.
biti jako. Most risky location.
And then how we attract the shark is, if you look at the bow of the dory, that we have some fish vest. So we will jump into the water and then we keep a minimum distance from the divers to the fish jump, 5 meters, 15 feet, so that they have enough space to come up and have their meals. Okay. So basically the show long lasts about like 20 to 25 minutes. So as soon as we put the fish vest, they will come and they will have their meal and then bye-bye. Okay. So since we are hanging around in this area, they might think that okay, they are getting some food, so they keep coming and going and keep coming and going. In this area, it's the area where you are not allowed to do any hover, because you can't hover since it's 5 meters.
Hovering.
So you cannot do, because of the propeller of the engine of the boats that pass in and out of the channel. Okay. So therefore, always make sure you stay stable, and then we will stay there for a while, and then we will just go check on the edge, see if there is anything interesting. If not, what we will do is we will get back to where we get into the water, and then on this time we have to swim away from the reef towards to the blue to do the safety stop. Okay.
Yep.
So that's pretty much about it.
Great.
Maximum depth.
Maximum depth is 10 meters.
Okay.
Okay, maximum depth is 10 meters. The average depth is about 6-7 meters. Yes.
Will it be interesting or practical, because those two ladies to pick shallower at about 7 meters?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's
because they
about
are
6. Yeah, it's
okay.
about 6-7 meters. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty much about it, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So very unlikely event if the shark might approach towards to you. Don't get panic. The guys will stay behind of you. They will go towards to them and then they will redirect them. Okay. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything. Okay.
Yeah, so if he really approaches,
Yeah.
we should do nothing.
You should do nothing. And also depending on the current, as soon as we,
Spusti glavu dole.
depending on the current, as soon as we put the fish vest, if the current is drifting towards to the divers, you might get a little bit murky. So therefore, try not to kick your fins too much because it's a sandy bottom. If you kick too much, all the sands will come up.
Yeah.
At the same time, these tiger sharks, they will make enough mess. So the visibility might get sometimes very bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much about it. And these guys are massive giants. They can approach you from here. They can approach you from there. They can approach you from there. So what we ask from you is just concentrate on the middle of the ground. The guys who will stay behind, they will look after the back of you guys. So that's pretty much about it.
How much distance between each of us?
You can stay right next to each other.
Right next to
Right
each other.
next to each other.
Jedan do drugog.
Because of the
Yeah.
surge current.
Because you can't control such a huge
Yeah.
three of
Jedan
them.
do drugog,
Da,
znači.
znači
Što bliže, što bliže jedan drugom.
And
Ko sardine.
you can use your light, but remember the sharks attract lights. So if they get too close to the lights, you can also switch off the lights. Sometimes they go and grab the lights.
Yeah.
If women have lights in their eyes, they should not do that.
I always dream of interacting with this animal, and I'm sure there is a way that we human can communicate with them, we human can understand them. From my experience, it's not impossible, it is possible, and to be honest, they know you. As soon as you get into the water, they know exactly who you are, because if you visit them regularly, they will understand you, they will know you, they will know that what we are going to do, etc., etc. So it's possible. So I'm learning and I'm into that process to interact with these animals without touching them or without feeding them. So I'm sure it's possible to understand their language or their body movements or how they interact with human beings, which is very possible. So whenever you say sharks, they have a fear of that they are going to eat human. But the reality is not like that. So we have a lot of bycatch from the fishermen, and the biggest threat for these animals are definitely, I would say, that humans. So we have to do a lot of work to aware the fishermen, especially to protect these species. Even if they bycatch, they don't have to hurt these animals. Sometimes if they bycatch these things, they hurt these sharks and they let go off. So they get, the fishermen, they get quite irritated because they are complaining that they can't catch any fish. The shark is catching the fish before they can pull it up on the dory. So therefore they get mad at these sharks, and they try to do whatever they can to stop these guys from getting their fish. Definitely, I would say Fuvahmulah is the capital of tiger sharks. At the same time, we have 14 other different types of sharks that you can see nearby the island. And the very first time I have seen a tiger shark in Fuvahmulah underwater with my scuba gear is 2013. That's when we opened the first dive shop here in Fuvahmulah. And then the local fish market, they have dumped their fish waste from 2017 onwards to the entrance of the harbour. That's when the sharks got attracted, and that's where you see the most amount of sharks in one place. So that's how it started. Very first dive shop we opened in 2013, but officially the tourists knows that this is a shark destination since 2017, and since 2017 onwards a lot of tourists do visit here, and the population, the tourism population is growing bigger and bigger. So at the very early stage we had only one guest house with 4 rooms. Now the inventory goes up to over 200 plus rooms on the island. So definitely it's increasing, and also each and every year the number of tourists visiting here is getting more and more from all over the world. So I would say we have a very healthy population of tiger sharks. Why I am saying that is on a dive that very rare occasion that you might spot a male shark. So most of the time it's all female. So due to that, because of that, we know that there is a very healthy population here. So which is estimated probably over hundreds of them up over here, and few of them we knows how to identify them because of the scars, because of the hook that they have in their mouth, or because of the dorsal fin cut, or because of the shape. We know few of them, so we have given few of them names, and those sharks, they visit regularly to the feeding area. 99% of the Maldives is water, 1% is land. Therefore, at the very young age, as a kid, I fall in love to the ocean, and that's where it leads me to get into the water, and at the end, as a result, I became a diver, and that's when it started. Fuvahmulah, situated just below the equator. We are the very first island just below the equator, and we have a population estimated of close to 15k, and I would say that like 6,000 people more or less live on the island. We have 8 districts, and each district has their own specialities and their own dialect. We have a very beautiful beach, which is known as Pebble Beach, and then we do have 2 freshwater lakes on the island. And the other interesting part on this island is definitely the reef around the island. I would say throughout the Maldives you cannot find a better healthy coral reefs than in Fuvahmulah. On top of that, like I said before, also we have 14 different types of sharks that you can encounter around the island, and also I would say the marine species that you see from this island reef is definitely different than the other parts of the Maldives. And throughout the year we have massive swells which comes all the way from the open ocean, and there we don't have any lagoons or anything right breaking the shore. We do also have a place where the surfers can learn the basic surfing lessons, and the waves are good enough to learn. And the other activities, such as I would say that the big game fishing is also growing up on the island. So those who love fishing, they come up over here and then go for big game fishing. So presently the island could do not too much for the tourists, but definitely we can improve a lot in future. We are working on that, and I think we will be succeeded once the pandemic is stable and once the people start to roam around the island. Since 2010, the Maldivian government officially announced that all species of rays and sharks are protected. However, Maldives is labeled as the locals, they consume the shark products, like they consume different types of sharks. Luckily, the tiger sharks are labeled as not a consuming product for them. So they don't bother to kill the tiger sharks. However, they do kill a lot of grey reef sharks, hammerheads, and the other types of reef sharks that they kill just for the meal. And in Fuvahmulah, it's also very famous for shark killing, because this is one island, one atoll. We don't have any other islands nearby. So the people has been survived of consuming shark meats and the coconuts in the past life. So we have to find a way to educate them and to aware them how important the sharks are to the ecosystem. So I think we will strive to achieve the goals sooner or later, and it needs some time. It takes some time to let them understand that these species are not good to consume, but rather to keep these species in the environment where we get a lot of other benefits from these animals. we have a lot of other options like different types of reef fish, tunas, these things people can consume. But again, the thing that the old generation, they have this in their blood that to be honest they can't sleep without having shark steak.
Okay, but it's allowed. It's allowed to kill the shark here.
Officially, it's not allowed to kill the sharks. However, fishermen, they catch the shark for consuming. So basically, on this island, for sure they don't export or they don't do any fin trade or anything. Whatever the sharks they catch, they just consume the meat and then they throw the rest of the sharks into the water. So the pollution and the erosion and also the plastic is a very big issue on the island, and we have a lot of garbage around the island. The responsible authorities and the independent authorities, they have been giving a lot of awareness programs throughout the island for a long run, and then still people are practicing the bad habits. So we hope, like I said, in 2 or 1 generations later, we could have zero plastics and zero pollution on the island. And on top of that, the population is increasing. Therefore, the construction, the building, these things, people just take sands from the beach to build their houses. Like I said, the perception of people about the species, the shark species, it's like in horror movie. So we need to aware them, we need to educate them. The sharks are not like that. Sharks are the most important cartilages marine life that we have to look after the ecosystem in the ocean. So we need to make more and more aware about the people, about this animal is not dangerous, so it's not a threat for human beings. And sharks, without sharks, there is no ocean. So the ocean needs sharks, and we need to save the sharks at any cost. Plan for future is to look after what we've got naturally, and I want to see a day that the locals are initiating these things and taking care of and passing it to the next generation.